Hello there, welcome to a basic Mkai guide for playing Grace. Most of these slides are going to be in the description. You can check those out. I'll also have some timestamps if you want to skip to different parts, but I'm going to just be talking and then I'll have some clips and a full run at the end. So let's go. So let's start off with a very brief, what on earth does Grace do? I assume if you've picked up Grace, you know what she does, but if not, here's a brief rundown. Grace is a unique staff character in Dragalia Lost that, instead of healing, actually sacrifices her own HP in order to give shields to her teammates. She has a mechanic that's unique called a life shield. Unlike other shields, it does not break when it takes damage. It instead will stay on that character until it is fully depleted. They also will not take afflictions from attacks that do not fully deplete the shield, so she can prevent all afflictions with a large enough shield. Grace also has a unique Force Strike. It will dispel one buff per cast. In exchange, it has a long cast time. She also has her own healing in kit to regenerate her HP after she shields. She regains HP after receiving defense buffs and also after using her Force Strike. So, dragons on Grace. Let's do a quick rundown right here. She needs HP because her shields are based on her personal HP. There are no 60% HP shadow dragons as of right now, so you have a couple options and your highest will be 35% HP. Your best bet is Azazel if you have him, even if he is not max unbound. He gives the maximum HP value as well as 35% skill haste, and his dragon skill poisons and gives 15% poison punisher to your entire team for 40 seconds. It is an excellent skill to use on break. High Zodiarch will give 35% HP and strength. He has a 10% def down skill you also want to use on break. And if you don't mind grinding High Zodiarch Trial a lot, he is completely free. Nidhogg is probably going to be the choice for people who don't have either of those. He gives 35% HP and strength and has no other redeeming qualities. Please don't dragon if you're using Nidhogg. If you don't have those guys, there also are some other options. Silk is the 4-star dragon who gives less stats but has 15% def down D skill for break if you're in a pre-made, or if you happen to get into a room and they don't care about your might, she works just fine. Mini Zodi was given out for free at the last half anniversary, and he has respectable stats and a very, very big dragon skill mod. You can actually use him to kill cataclysms and spheres if for some reason your DPS has fucked up. Abisu is probably the worst choice, but he's also free, so that's a plus. It says he gives 40% HP, but he actually gives less than Nidhogg, High Zodiarch, and Azazel because his base stats suck for being welfare. Please don't dragon on him. He does not do anything in dragon. Grace is a staff, so she does, like, negative damage. So you may be wondering, does she even need a weapon? Why yes, she does, and you want the Shadow Agito staff. It doesn't matter how many unbinds it has. You want it for the attack speed, and you want it because of the defense buff. She is probably the only character who wants that. It's gonna proc her self-heal, and you can use it in a pinch if for some reason you are about to die. Wyrmprints! Probably the most confusing part of any character build. Grace wyrmprints are actually really easy. You just need one that has a healing double buff. There's 3 options here. You can take a look at them. The best one is probably Wish Upon a Yule Tree, which you can get by opening up the Dragon Yule in the compendium, and it will allow you to buy it from the wyrmprint shop. Your second print is going to 99% of the time be the Chocolatiers, which gives you 100% skill prep, so all of her skills are charged at the beginning of the fight. Some people don't like this because it means that they don't take the blast damage to get their HP low, but don't listen to them because Bellinas can drop her HP using her skill 2, and if you don't take Choco, you don't get any shields up for like 15 seconds because you both have to heal up and charge your S1, and your pubs will die because pubs are stupid. Okay, we're done talking about Grace right now. Let's talk about this guy, Mkai, Master Cayenne, who has 28,666,162 HP. This is 3 times the HP of Expert. Most of his attacks inflict blind, which means that paralysis resist units actually suck here. Good thing Grace is blind resist. The attacks he does are based on his HP. If you do enough damage at certain points of the fight, you will actually skip attacks, and this is why the fight will play out differently, just depending on, it feels random, but it's actually because you're doing more or less damage at different parts. The biggest thing is his shields function differently than Expert. Every time he shields, he gets 2 buffs, the shield and a secondary shield buff that will bring the shield back up if you do not dispel it. He has to be dispelled twice every time he shields. He also cannot be poisoned until the second buff is gone. Make sure you check his buff bar to see if that second buff is gone. It looks like a little yellow hexagons. 90% of his attacks are also now purple, so goodbye iframing. So you might be wondering after all of this, what the fuck does Grace even do here? Well, she shields people. She also has to bait Cataclysm, and I call them yeets, but it's a move where he grabs you and throws you all the way across the arena. She's also going to be baiting Kai during his spheres phase, when he puts 6 spheres down on the map that he will shield if he eats them. You're also going to be either the primary or secondary dispel depending on your team comp. You should always be trying to dispel his shields when they come up because there are 2 buffs and you will either get the first buff or the second buff. Both are important to dispel. So Grace will bait both Cataclysm and a move where Cayenne grabs and throws you. I'm going to call it yeet. They both cause what's called suppression. You cannot move or take any actions while in the grip of Cayenne. And they both target furthest player during their lock-on period. Now, people get confused about Cataclysm because it actually locks onto you a couple seconds before he does the grab. So you have to anticipate when to distance yourself. All Cataclysms happen after purple chasers and full purple annihilations when the center is purple. He will lock on while he is walking to the middle or while he's doing a shuffle. Grace is also primary bait during Cayenne's move called Supreme Spheres. His dashes will target the closest player, so literally just stand next to him. You're usually going to bait him to the bottom of the screen, but bait him to wherever DPS has cleared spheres. If he eats a sphere, there is time to do a force strike to dispel before doing an iframe or a roll. If you have to choose between dispelling or eating a hit, though, definitely choose dispel. Grace does have to charge her force strike to dispel, but the good news is that in Master, all shields are predictable. There is the inner and outer charging purple rings from Expert, but he also shields himself during Annihilation. To predict Annihilation, you will see him do a little shuffle in place while his sphere wall is up. His sphere wall will briefly drop, and then he will shield. You want to charge as soon as you see him start to shuffle in place. As promised, here's a full run of Cayenne. I asked him to do no damage early on to show all of the possible moves, and now I will shut up.
I will be your extinction. I will grind your bones to dust. I am dauntless.
My hatred escalates. Sorrow's Requiem. Earnest prayer. I'll not let you go.
My muscles swell, unstoppable, invincible.
Sorrow's Requiem. My hatred escalates.
is true violence.
Crisis Edge. Crisis Edge.
Earnest prayer. My hatred escalates.
Now your flesh shall burst.
Sorrow's requiem. I'll not let you go. Earnest prayer. My hatred escalates. Sorrow's requiem.
Time to get busy for a walk.
Behold the path of evolution.
My hatred escalates. Earnest prayer. Sorrow's requiem. I'll not let you go.
Flawless formation.
Sorrow's requiem. Earnest prayer.
You are lax, weak, unworthy. Behold the path of evolution.
I'll not let you go. My hatred escalates.
This is true violence.
Blade formation. Flawless formation.
My hatred escalates.
My
Sorrow's
muscles swell, unstoppable, invincible.
earnest prayer. My hatred escalates.
This is true violence.
Sorrow's requiem. I'll not let you go. My hatred escalates.
The weak cannot stand against me. Now your flesh shall burst.
Earnest prayer. Sorrow's requiem. My hatred escalates. I won't let you go. My hatred escalates.
Behold the path of evolution.
Sorrow's requiem.
This is true violence.
Flawless
My hatred escalates. Sorrow's requiem. I'll not let you go. My hatred escalates.
Behold the path of evolution.
Sorrow's requiem.
Blade formation.
I'll not let you go.
Now your flesh shall burst.
Sorrow's requiem.
I stand at the pinnacle of evolution.
To be alive is a thing to be celebrated.